To share something with you today we normally do not speak so much about, and that is that life is hard. It's hard. We go through a lot of things. We experience a lot of persecution, we experience a lot of fight, we experience a lot of doubt, we experience a lot of attacks, and life is hard. And often when I'm out having meetings and doing things, I get sometimes provoked when people look at us and look at me like I got it easy. Like, yeah, Tom, you experience what you do because God have just done it like this. But it has been hard. It has been really hard. It is hard. Life is hard. But other people do not understand it because they do not see it. They don't see me like showing that life is hard. Why? It's like a woman who is giving birth to a baby. If you ask that woman about if the time of the birth was hard, it was hard. Up to that, she was puring, she could not sleep, her stomach grew, and when she came to that time where she's going to give birth to that baby, come on, it's hard. I've been there with my wife and her 3 births with our kids. Ooh, it's hard. What a woman goes through is not small things. But it's not like that woman, the rest of her life, every time she look at her baby, she will like, oh, that pain I got by giving birth to you, that pain. So try to imagine that every time. And then in the morning, like when the baby is 5 years old, oh, that pain. Every time I see you, I remind of that pain I went through. No, the woman do not think of the pain. Why? Because what she got out of it was so much beautiful. And the same, we do not talk so much, and people do not see that pain we go through. Why? Because what we get out of it is so much more beautiful. But before I'm going to talk a little about that, I'll talk about how life is hard and what we go through. First, there's a lot of battles, spiritual battles. There's just spiritual battles when you really want to pursue God. Like battles in your mind. I have crazy things, crazy dreams in the night, thoughts coming to my mind, like leave your wife, leave your kids, go out in the world. And I've been fighting with a lot of thoughts sometimes who just come to me. Sometimes I've experienced attack where it's so much, and in a few days it's like the mind all the time. And in these times, I have to pray a lot. I have to fast and I have to be in the Word because that attack is just there. But then after a fight, it's gone again and there's a freedom. On to next time where I experience spiritual attack, and we experience crazy things like also attacks where it's spiritual, but I feel in my body, suddenly I end up at the hospital with morphine and 3 doctors around me and I want to die. And the next day I'm driving a car toward a meeting and everything is fine. I experience car windows explode and people drive in front of my car and crazy thing, car break down and house and everything just go crazy. So there is a spiritual war and it is crazy. It's one thing. We also experience attack from the world, non-believers out there who hate us, who think we are crazy, who just, when we talk to them, just shake their head and look at us like we are crazy. Who do you think you are? And it's not nice. People who write things and put in our mailbox and spit on our car and do different things and want to kill us and someone write letters and crazy things. So we experience spiritual attack. We experience attack from the world out there. We also experience attack by the church, and that is the hardest. I have experienced brothers, pastors, leaders cheating me, different things from my money, from my network, from a house. Sometimes I got thrown out of a house because a pastor cheated me in a contract we had and so on. And it's been hard. It's been hard, and Christians who are writing and talking bad about me, and it's hard. It's really hard, especially people you know and people you respect, and suddenly they turn against you and think you're crazy. And the Bible says it should be like that. Paul, if you look at his life in Corinthians, he talks about he's in dangers in the open seas, in the desert, amongst Jews, amongst false brothers, false brothers. He had been in dangerous through his whole life. And the same thing, we experience attack from many different areas, and especially attacks from the church. It's hard. It's hard. Just a few days ago, somebody sent a bad mail to me, and I don't like it. I don't like it. And it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of things to keep your heart pure and pray to God and don't feel anger toward it. And you just have to, okay, work with it. And it is hard, and it's easy to get it to stop. We just compromise. But if we compromise, Jesus is not our Lord. So Jesus has promised us persecution. So we experience spiritual attack. We experience attack from the world, and we experience attack from the church. Sometimes it's false people in the church who standing in the pulpit, but it's also people where there's just a misunderstanding. Satan love coming with misunderstanding and with split toward brothers in the church. So this is also what we experience. But we also experience attack with ourselves, doubt. What God, is that really you? Shall I go this way? Is that your will? And when we step out in faith and suddenly need some money, and God, I need that money, otherwise everything's going to fall down. God, I believe it was you who spoke to me, God. Why did you not come? And it's hard. It's really hard. Sometimes been fasting like 40 days or 20 days or 10 days, and like seeing God, I need an answer now. And to be honest, it's much easier just to go out and lay it all away and get a job and live a normal life than living this life. It's a hard life because there's a lot of doubt. God, is that you? And I need that money. And what about this? And fear is coming in and attack. Like, okay, what will people say when I do this and so on? And there's a lot of things you have to work with. And it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy. And sometimes you can, over a day, you can be so totally tired and you look back at the day and you have almost done nothing. But because you have used a lot of energy and a lot of time to keep yourself in faith, in God, and keep the focus. But there's also attack just with sin, where it's not like there's freedom from sin. I experience a freedom from sin. I've been talking about that before, that there's freedom from sin. But attack to keep yourself pure. Like when somebody mess up with you, talk bad about you, and then you had to forgive them. The Bible says forgive. You had to forgive. And sometimes it takes time. Sometimes like when people have really hurt you, really hurt you and really said a lot of bad things about you and destroyed a lot of things about you and your name and everything, it takes time. You have to pray. You have to, God, help me to forgive. I forgive right now. And it takes time. It takes energy to keep your heart pure, to keep yourself in the focus. So I just want to say, life is hard. It's not easy. There's spiritual attack. There is attack from the world out there, from people and sinners who do not know what is happening. There's attack from false brothers, family members, people in the church, people you know. There is attack with doubt and when it comes to believing God and take the next step, and worries, a lot of worries. We can use a lot of time on worries, and it takes time to push that worries away and just look in faith and do what God has called you to do. And there's attack with yourself and your mind to keep your heart pure. Life is hard. And I can say, if I look back at our life, we have again and again lost friends. We have lost so many friends. Really, I cannot count how many friends we have lost. Where people believed a lie inside the church and suddenly we lost them as a friend. We have 2 times got thrown out of our house. We have 1 time lost all our money and got a big debt, $100,000. We have many times experienced people have been writing bad about us, and other friends have believed that. We have experienced people have done a lot of crazy things. But I don't talk about it often. Why? Because there's a joy. I don't think of the pain, because out of all of that, there is a baby who has been born. And what is our joy? Our joy is not the ministry. It's really not the website. It's really not the ministry. Of joy is seeing people born again, is one of it. Seeing life change, because the only thing I can take with me from this world is not a big website or ministry or money if we had that. No, the only thing I can take with me is believers, people who have become born again. But the joy is also Jesus, of course. Where through all of this, and this is what Paul also said in Corinthians, through all of this, when we are weak, he's strong. When we give up, this is where God can start. And when I look back on my life, it had been hard. I have been crying so many times. I've been fasting so many times. I've been praying so many times. I wanted to give up so many times. I've been depressed or almost depressed really so many times. I've been in battles where I thought I'm going crazy and going to the mental hospitals and thought I'm never going to survive this day. I've been thinking many times, should I jump out in front of a car and just die because I don't want this anymore? But through all of this, when I look back, God is faithful. And I have found Jesus. Out there where we lost everything, I found him. And I don't want to change it. I don't, and to be honest, sometimes I can miss that time. Because when we have period where everything is going okay, and we had short period of that, then it's easy to forget what it's all about. Then it's easy to get stuck with ministry and work and other things. But out there, we don't have anything else than him. So I just want to say, but if you have a picture of me and other people and think life is easy, forget it. Life is not easy. And God has truly not promised us an easy life. Jesus has said through many trials, through much persecution, through a hard life, we are going to enter the kingdom of God. And that persecution is not a weekend. I remember one time, I'm going to end with it, I remember I got a prophecy that God said he wanted to take us through a desert period. But my pain was over. And I remember when I got that word, I was thinking, yeah, the last 2 weeks have been hard, but now our pain is over. No, the desert period had really not started at that time. It took 4, 5, 6 years more. So our desert period is not only a few days, it's not a few weeks, it can be years. But God is faithful. God is faithful. So don't be afraid when you experience persecution or battles. Don't think what is wrong with you. You should rather think what is wrong with me when life is too easy. So it's not our best life now. This is a hard life. But in all of that, we don't focus on that pain, because what comes out of it is amazing. So God bless you. Go and see the Pioneer School. See the teaching. Let the word transform your life. And see our movie, The Last Reformation, in the beginning. Bye-bye.